Hey y'all, hey, welcome to Who Got Time. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thanksgiving Eve. Wednesday, yeah, Thanksgiving Eve.
No, it ain't.
Can you
It's
believe?
Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving Eve Eve.
Yo, but when this airs, it's about to be Thanksgiving Eve. Don't tell the
Oh,
people it's 2 days early.
oh, see, yeah, I
You
know.
know the
He done
accuracy.
right say he done threw the whole shit off. Start from the top. Now
You
you got to
might
start
want to
from
record that shit again.
the top.
Coming through with the accuracy.
Right.
The
You're like, no,
fact of
no,
the
it's
matter
not.
So that was the
is,
white. That was the white in me.
Right.
I don't think so. I think this
I'm
is Thanksgiving Eve
sorry.
It's
I'm
okay
Eve.
because you.
sorry, Tom, but
Right.
we would like the people to not know we're 2 days early.
Right.
That's why.
So yeah, where's security?
Thanks.
Come get this guy. Come get this guy.
Okay.
Y'all, we are blessed tonight. We have not one but two special guests. We have Dame Dash joining us from Two Bikes Up.
What up? What up?
Al, hey,
What up? What up? What up? What's good, cuz? What's going on?
What's up? What's
Hey,
up? What's
what's
popping?
up?
and
What's
we
up?
have
What's
the
popping?
ever
All to the
fabulous,
good.
ever
No doubt.
fabulous
Uh.
comedian extraordinaire, AG White, joining us from the BK.
What
Everybody
All
knows
up?
how I
day,
feel about
every
Brooklyn.
day, son.
Brooklyn in the house.
Shouts,
Ow!
shout out. What up? What up? Welcome.
I
Thank you for
can't
having
Yeah.
me.
even. I
All to the
can't
good.
even. I don't even care if he was coming in from Istanbul. When you from Brooklyn, it's just Brooklyn. It's just Brooklyn all day. Like it's just Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Brooklyn.
All
How
day,
are
every
you
day.
guys doing this evening? Thank you for joining us, AG. Yo, AG, where you just whirled in from? Cause you stay on the road. You stay working. Where you at?
No, I had
Where
a
you came
project. I had a project with Amazon at 6:45 to 8:45, so I was kind of like off the radar, off the
from?
grid,
Nice.
and I just finished that, and then I had to get it together, and of course, make sure I'm in the studio
I
with
love it.
Zoom and Dame and all them folks. You know what I mean?
That's what's
Tell
happening,
the
man.
people who don't know about your comedic styling. Some of us know that you have been around. You are, I mean, literally on the block from short pants days, making
Yo,
us giggle and
I look. I
jiggle.
keep it real. I know. I remember him from we was wearing them ugly color shirts.
Wow.
I'm
There are
still
no
wearing them
photos.
ugly color shirts.
There was no IG. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, listen, I've been doing it for a long time. I started at the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem, where when I first got there to the comedy club, it said Uptown Comedy Club. And I asked them, can I get on stage? And they told me they don't do comedy here. I said, the sign says Uptown Comedy Club. They thought I was police. So this is way back before it was, fuck 12 and all that, defund the police and everything like that. They literally thought I was the popo. And they was like, nah, we do karaoke on Wednesdays. Said, damn. Didn't even want me to get on that day.
Okay. And still you fought your way in, and that is
Mhm.
how it began. How many years ago?
I never really like to date myself, but just let's just put close to 3 decades ago.
All right, all right. I feel like there's like magic in that, not for nothing. I feel like you are tried and true, and it gives you the authority to speak to what's happening in comedy these days. I don't think that everybody can. How do you feel about that, Dane?
Well, listen, the standing chance that we have is as long as they don't take away our amendment number one, which indirectly it's being taken away slowly but surely with this cancel culture ish. You know what I mean? If you speak your mind and you offend the wrong people right away, they're at your head, so to speak. And that's the shit I don't like. You know what I mean? Like I built my brand over, close to, like I said, 3 decades, and then I say
Right.
something that might be, out of line, but I'm thinking it's funny to me, and now you're trying to cancel, culture. Come on, like really, stop already. This is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm gonna be who I am regardless, whether I ruffle feathers or I just continue to just do what I do, and that's what I do. So I just stay the course. Why
Dane,
silence?
Dane, we lost your voice.
All right.
There
So
you go.
now, I have to ask with everything going on because you mentioned cancel culture and being a comedian like Dave Chappelle. When you see
Right.
this whole thing unfolding, when you first saw it, AG, like did that really make you have to really take pause, or did you really have to
Nah,
reflect on some of your work?
nah.
Nah.
Fuck
Okay.
that, yo.
Yeah.
Dave stood his ground. Dave
Right.
stood his ground and stuck to his script. And yo, it is what the fuck it is, man. I mean,
Right.
can we cuss?
Yeah. Hey,
Yes.
go
What?
ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
You
Go
fucking right.
ahead.
So boom. Nah, but for real, like,
Wait,
you know,
wait, what?
I mean, I love Dave. And
Right.
whenever Dave would see me, Dave would call me Mighty Whitey. You know what I'm saying? AG White, Mighty Whitey. So, you know, I mean, Dave. That's what I love about Dave. Dave don't give a fuck. Dave
Hmm.
got money. And
Right.
Dave's gonna continue to push that envelope, you know, in his own way. And
Right.
that's it. Get with it or get left.
And the only reason why I could, like you said though, I mean, because I know, not to say that I know, but I would imagine, everybody is not a Dave Chappelle, but everybody's
Right,
striving to get to that level or get to that place. And
right,
I know, like, understanding your comedy, you give it raw, you giving it straight from the gut. You know what I'm saying? You like, if I can pleasantly say, you remind me, like, every neighborhood's got that one white guy that's in the hood, like everybody, yo, that's my man. Don't
Right.
nobody fuck, you know what I'm saying? But you,
Hence,
you're
hence, Mighty Whitey. So boom.
right.
So now that you said that, D, just to elaborate, you know, yeah, my family is the only white family still left in the urban neighborhood. Now check this out. I was telling somebody off camera. I had a conversation with somebody like on some real stuff, man. I am a fucking three-time gentrification survivor. And I'm gonna explain.
Please do.
When I
go.
first was growing up in the early 70s, right?
Hmm.
It was Jewish. The neighborhood was Jewish. Matter of fact, the churches in the area were synagogues where I grew up at.
Hmm.
They were synagogues where the Jewish people go and pray and everything like that. It was synagogue in East New York in the
Right,
early 70s.
Hmm.
And they
right,
sold the synagogue to have the church practice. So all these churches in the area were synagogues in the Jewish religion. So I went through Jewish gentrification, and then in the early 80s, it was African American gentrification.
Hmm.
And
right.
that's where I did most of my growing up in
Hmm.
the 80s, even though I'm a 70s baby. Matter of fact, I'm 70, period. So
Right.
when I was coming up, like 5 and 6 and 7, you know, I remember it being all Jewish. You know that, and Jews then moved from East New York to Crown
John
Heights.
Heights. Yeah.
Right,
Hmm.
exactly. So they
Hmm.
moved to Crown Heights, and then African Americans came in the early 80s, and now, you know, East New York still is not fully gentrified. And white folks that are, you know, part of the infiltration of gentrification, fire, gentrify.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Those folks coming in now looking at me like you're new. I'm like,
Right.
Seth, I will savage the shit out of you. And guess what?
Whoa!
And guess what? Police won't do nothing.
Right.
It'll be a white on white crime. We both
Mm.
Right,
got the complexion
right,
for the protection.
I
right,
love it. I love that, man.
Facts.
I
right,
love that, man.
right,
I appreciate you
right,
taking the time to break that down for everybody, because
Already.
I don't think a lot of people really know and understand that unless you've
correct.
had that experience. You know
Unless
what I'm saying?
you,
I had
No,
that
but three,
experience. Yeah.
yeah. How can you talk about it, or how can you make up something like this if you haven't lived it,
Lived
D?
it.
You know what
Right.
I'm
right,
No.
saying, True?
right,
Hey, I'm
right,
with you. I'm
No,
with
no,
that.
no, no. Listen, with all due, I'm just, for conversational reasons,
Hmm.
I stick. Listen, bro, I am who I am. You can't get blood from a stone. No
Okay.
matter how many times you hit that stone, blood ain't coming out of it. I don't care, man. You can't change me. I am who I am. I
Love it.
built
right,
this brand. And
Love it.
for and for see, this is what really perturbs me to no end, right? Here it is. I grew up in this shit, through African American culture,
Mm.
and then you got folks like Michael Rappaport, right?
Mm.
That are
Oh,
what
let's
we
talk.
call cultural
Right. Let me lean in, cause let's
appropriate,
talk. Okay.
motherfuckers, right?
Mm.
Where they'll try to infiltrate the culture because they read up on it. They're good readers. They're actors. You know what I mean? But they haven't lived
that
knee
life.
deep in
Yeah.
what I've
Oh,
experienced.
Mm.
oh,
I get. Look, go ahead, show me, because I see you
oh,
leaning in. Because I'm with you. I'm with you.
No,
oh,
dead ass.
That no, you dead ass
oh.
right. Dead ass right.
Michael lived in the hood and left the hood as soon as the blacks started coming in
Exactly.
the hood.
Exactly.
As
Not to
soon as
say,
brown
listen,
folks
not
got
to
a little
say
bit
I
of
deserve an
change
award,
and
but why the
started to
fuck do I
buy,
gotta leave when the
Michael
house is
broke
paid for?
boogie.
Hey, Ray, you're right. There's no need. I
Hey,
mean, you.
listen, my father was a Jewish man, and my father always, I'll never forget this. If it came to, if people want to dissect gentrification, my father would have said, we didn't land on them, they landed
Landed
on
on us.
us.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm
That's real
saying?
talk. Real talk.
It was like some Plymouth Rock shit.
Mm-hmm.
But we never, of course, I'm just using an example. But
Right.
my pops was old school. And let me tell you something that I know from the bottom of my heart. Jewish folks, believe it or not, and I don't give a fuck. You know, people say, oh, you can't compare it to slavery. Jewish people lost over 8 million people to the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
So we're the minorities too.
Mm.
That's why Jews and blacks get along very, very well, because we both know the struggle. We both know that in Hollywood, even though Holly weird, so to speak, is Jews, and we all know gays. But Jews control the industry.
Yeah, yeah. Call it. I mean,
You know,
tell.
and here it is. I remember when I auditioned for Disney through my man Ben Hill, who was the exact talent executive for Showtime at the Apollo. He got me a audition with Disney when I first started comedy. I started in '92,
Mm-hmm.
right? 30 years will be April '92. It'll be 30 years.
Wow.
He got me an audition in 1995 at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, California, to audition for Disney because I was great with characters. But when I did my stand up, the execs at Disney told Ben, hey, Ben, guy's good, but he's just too bitter. And I'm like, motherfucker, bitter? I grew up in the hood. What the fuck you want me to do? Just
Right.
because you don't understand at this particular time, here it is. Fast forward 30 years later, I guarantee you that motherfuckers get it. Because every person, every African American that's in Hollywood right now is from the inner city that
Mm.
is really truly making it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
Let me just
and
say
I'm
that
no one's
amongst,
Frankenstein. That's another thing that I you can't
no, you're
program me.
not built
Nah.
right.
Nah.
You're
No,
You're
you
not
not
ain't
built
gonna
like
built.
that.
You're not a
program me.
Ain't built like
creation.
that.
You're not a
Right.
Before I let you
creation.
program me, I'll fucking eat it. I just
Right.
won't. I won't do it.
You're not a creation. I will
Right.
say that despite the similarities in the walk, and there are some similarities in the struggle and in the walk and in the way that Jews understand what it is to, like, literally they try to wipe out the entire people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we
Mm-hmm.
can relate to that as people of color. There's such a divide in the way that we as people of color handle the after.
Yeah.
And that always is something that
Mm.
doesn't sit well. And I'm gonna leave this earth, and I'm gonna leave this earth with it not me not understanding it and it not sitting well with me. I've had this conversation with multimillionaires, and I've had this conversation with my daughter, and it just, no one has the answer. Jews, Sephardic Jews, Latin Jews, Black
Like
Jews,
Jews. Mm-hmm.
Jews, Orthodox Jews,
Mm-hmm.
Hasidic
Hasidic.
Jews,
Mm-hmm.
Jews, practicing Jews. Now, as soon as you are recognized as being
Jewish.
Jew-ish or
Mm-hmm.
no,
Right.
come together in a way that if there is a moment where there is choice and it's me or my Jewish brethren, they over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Mm.
clear.
Right.
There is
Mm-hmm.
no question.
Yeah.
Our people, Dane, not the same. The
That's. I mean.
divide that we The divide that we embrace is
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. The way
You
that
know,
we separate ourselves is ridiculous.
well,
It's nuts.
we're trying
And
to
it stymies our progress, and it stymies our progress, and it will always get in the motherfucking way.
we're always trying to integrate into a system that wasn't built for us. We don't know how to get out of that crab in the barrel mentality.
Mm.
We want to integrate and be accepted. You can't be accepted into something that doesn't want you. And
You
until we
right, because the
understand,
Jews said, "Fuck that noise. We Jewish.
and,
Like
and
we're
that,
not
that
gonna
and
be
that and that's what
accepted."
and that's really where I was going with. Sometimes you have to put your culture before integration. And the difference that
Mm.
I see a lot of times in the Jewish community is that they really understand that their culture, their faith, and like you say, you could break down a sect, whatever sect you want to call, but Jew
Because whether you practice or
is
not,
is
they're
right.
still gonna come
It's
together.
Jewish, right? And I think we have a long way to go and breaking that slave mentality of being a part of something. And I mean, we've seen it
Absolutely.
here in America. We helped put the president in the White House. And I was just talking with somebody the other day, hey, what is Biden going to do for us? And I just had to laugh. Like, don't tell me you was one of those people that was at the polls hitting the button thinking that when you hit his name, that he was going to turn around and do something. Yeah, because the Asians got the hate crime. Yeah. All right. But
I just chose
nonetheless,
the lesser of the two
two
evils.
evils. Right. But I do want to ask, though,
Definitely
AG.
the lesser of the two evils.
Oh, yeah. And,
Correct.
and that's what I just want to ask AG too, that like how do you find in your stand up, because I remember you, and we were talking off air before you came on. I remember you, and this is like, I want to say it was like post 9/11, and you were talking about shit, sisters with names or something like that.
Hmm.
Cookie with peaches and peaches with whatever it was.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and how, but how does do you a lot of time, because I can't recall you really delving into politics per se. Is that really something that is in your wheelhouse? Like how do you come up with your creative content? Sometimes is it
Well, I stay away
emotion,
from
feeling?
politics. I don't
Oh,
like
okay,
politics at all.
okay, okay,
That's one fucking premise I will not touch on because I'm not
okay,
good at it.
Okay.
I don't
okay,
I don't
Okay.
really I don't really follow it like that.
right.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I just stay away from that. I just try to create some real what's the word? Some like unique stuff. The sisters with the nicknames
That shit was hilarious.
that derived from growing up in the hood. I
Yeah.
always knew a cookie. We all knew a peaches. We knew a pumpkin, and I'm good with words.
This is
Right.
I'm
true.
good with
It's
articulating my
true.
words.
Mhm,
So all it was just a matter of just what we call as stand-up comedians, just tagging the joke
mhm,
by adding the names to it. You know what I
mhm.
mean?
Right.
And that's how it derived. Like I was telling a friend of mine, I mean, yeah, I'm Jewish, grew up in the hood. Hanukkah, never ask somebody that's not real, like they're Jewish, but not really, not Hasidic, not Orthodox, not, Reform. I'm just Reformed Jew like myself.
Mhm.
Never ask your Jewish friends when Hanukkah is, because we don't know when the shit is either. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm telling you, growing up, I thought Hanukkah was a chick name in the projects. I thought she had a twin named
No,
Hanukkah.
you are lying. Cut it out. You're lying.
Yo.
Hanukkah and Monica, they were twins. They were Scorpios.
Yo, but that's better than my man Smokey. What do you call it? Chinooka?
Mm-mm.
Chinooka.
Yeah,
Oh,
he called this shit Chinooka. I was like, yo,
ah,
somebody get the mic from Smokey. He out here
what?
killing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, this shit was crazy.
Tanuka?
Chinooka, yeah, a whole new creation
Mm-mm,
from
mm-mm, mm-mm,
Smokey.
mm-mm,
Chinooka, yeah, shit was
mm-mm.
crazy.
That's funny.
AG, let me ask you this, AG. How do you hone? Do you hone, or does it just come naturally to you? How do you hone your comedic sword, so to speak? I hear people say often when I'm a documentary freak, so I watch all these documentaries all the time, and people will say, no, I don't really think about it. I'm naturally funny, or it just, it's everyday life and blah, blah, blah. I just, I walk down the street and things are funny to me and I just absorb them. And do you work at it? Or is it really just like breathing?
Right.
No, it's not like breathing, because if you have to be, you have to be creative. You have to have your thought pattern, your thought process, your thought uh what's the word I'm looking for? Your thought uh consumption.
Mm.
Um I read, and I look, and I feel like, how can I make that into a joke that I can actually put into my set? Now, people fail to realize, when you write, you have to include your old stuff with your new stuff. And then once the new stuff really works, then you can start throwing away the old stuff. You can't
Okay.
just start with 45 minutes of new material. You'll bomb. You'll bomb.
Mm.
Okay.
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? I don't give a
Right.
shit. You'll bomb whether you don't bomb to the audience or not. But as a comedian, we'll bomb in our head.
Mm.
Okay.
Even though, we could be good at disguising it.
Right.
But the whole fact of the thing is, I never get complacent with thinking that I'm still a natural. I still try to work at the craft, because not every audience is the same. Some
Right.
audiences really
Mm.
want what we call snaps in the material, like
Okay.
how can I
Like
like
those are your mama
snaps,
jokes, quick
like just
ones.
just one
Yeah.
liners.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then there's
Okay.
audiences like at the improvs, the funny bones, the mainstream comedy clubs. They want stories.
Stories.
Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So if you're doing
Okay.
a
Mm-hmm.
hookah joint somewhere in Bushwick, when everybody's on their cell phone, obviously you can't tell stories, because they
Right.
don't want to hear the shit.
Hear that
Right.
story. Right.
Right.
It's like, yo, give me
Mm.
the joke real quick, and let me smoke this hookah, and let me answer these 4 text messages back and forth. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mm.
But at
Right.
a comedy
Yeah.
club, people pay top dollar to hear comedy and to hear stories pertaining to whatever the comedian's talking about.
Right.
You know?
Right. You're building, and then you drop it on them. Right.
Right.
I
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
I,
Hmm.
I have to ask because you brought up something in your mind, like two things. It's really like a two-part question. Like in your mind, like you say, you're telling a joke and you off gate probably know, oh, this shit's gonna bomb. It's gonna be terrible. Or how have you dealt with, because like a lot of times you go to a club and you always got that one motherfucker, like you say, who think he funny and want to sit there and want to heckle, like soon as you, oh, here he go, oh shit, here he come.
Listen,
Like how
yo,
you
yo,
how have you
D,
been able to master
yo,
it?
D. I'm gonna cut you short right there, homie. I'm gonna tell
Okay.
you, them fucking days, D, them days are over, dog.
Over. Yo, that's what's
I
up,
don't give
man.
a fuck. I'm not fighting motherfucking hecklers. I'm not doing it.
Okay, okay,
I'm not
okay.
doing it, because at the end of the day, I'll take the L. It is
Mm,
what it is. But if you shut the fuck up and listen, I got some creative shit.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
And I stick by that.
Mm,
So if you have an
Right.
issue within yourself, and you
mm,
might be high on some shit, and you're getting paranoid, then I can't control that.
Right.
mm, mm. I like that, and that sounds like that comes from experience. Because I'm just that, because even listening though, like you said, like the times have changed as far as like what it sounds like clubs have evolved. I think you and I might be more in the same age bracket in the sense of
All of
how
us.
comedy,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, but how comedy clubs may have been to how they are now. So even with that, you know, is it a thing where are you able to watch sometimes how some a performer before you goes out, and like do you kind of
Yeah,
tailor,
well,
or you say
well,
you,
yeah, a good show, a good
mm-hmm,
show consists of a great host.
okay, okay,
Okay, the host is the point guard, basketball terms.
mm-hmm,
Chris Paul,
right,
Phoenix Suns.
mm-hmm,
They won 13 games in a row.
right,
Your man Chris Paul is the point guard.
right,
He's setting everybody up, right? Giving them passes where their spots are,
mm-hmm,
and letting them do what they do. Same thing with comedy. Like talent, comedian talent
yeah,
is not only a great stand-up comedian, he's an awesome host. He does just enough time to get the audience ready, and then throws you the alley oop.
that's what's up. Okay, I get it. I
You
got you.
understand?
Yep.
So it starts with the host. If the fucking host bombs and they don't respect the host, how the fuck they gonna respect the whole rest of the
It's
show?
so true. It's
Yeah,
so true.
man.
They set it up for you. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah, I think a lot of us don't realize that. That's why I
It's
just had to
so
ask.
true. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. It my brother Brandon sent in this question and I'm gonna definitely give him all the props. It's a good one. Who, if you had your starting five, would you set up as your all-star comedy team?
Good question.
My all-star five.
Mm-hmm.
Any comedians that I work with, or just in general?
Any.
Okay,
Any.
I'm gonna give you five,
Anybody
but
you
they're
can
not
pick.
necessarily in this order.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Paul
That's fine.
Mooney,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Oh yes.
Great classic.
George Carlin,
Okay,
Mm.
yes.
Cedric, the Entertainer,
Yes. Yes.
D.L. Hughley,
Mm.
Yes.
and there was a comedian who passed away who worked on our circuit, who was a monster, Cortez Jackson, who's
Okay.
an old school head, Cortez.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yo,
Okay.
you pull up Cortez. If you know, I think YouTube was around when he was there, but he's an old head that I came up with. That was just he was the snap king. He can look at something in the audience and snap on it for like 20 minutes, and each snap would be funnier than the next. So it's like preference. You know what I mean? So like I said,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily in that
Mm-hmm.
order.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
But they're all great.
you want to
Yeah.
Oh
include
yeah.
Red
Mm-hmm.
Fox. I enjoyed Red Fox,
Yeah.
you know, but
Uh,
of
Grew up on
course,
red.
I mean, you it top five is just it's tough, but like I
No,
said, Cedric the
that's a good
Entertainer,
lineup.
D.L. Hughley, Paul Mooney, um, um, George Carlin, and Cortez Jackson, old
That's a
school.
good lineup.
No,
I
that's
like
that's a
that.
great five,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
Mm,
I'm not
Yeah.
mad at that.
Other
You
mm,
than
know,
Mr. Cortez, I know all those others, so that's a
yeah,
great
I
lineup.
think I vaguely know quarter, but
yeah.
I'm not gonna swear
Cortez
to it.
Cortez was definitely he was definitely on the circuit. He was in and out of jail, but when he came back, you feel like he never
Mm.
left. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's how good he was. He never lost a beat.
So, speaking of the circuit, AG, like, because prior to to today's conversation,
Hmm.
I kind of went back and like I said, when I saw you, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I remember him, and not to say like like he's forgotten, but like the comedy scene. We get bombarded sometimes with just one or two comedians at a time, and it
Right.
seems like we always watch them rise and I hate to say fizzle
And
out, but they kind of right, and it just kind of
they're
rotates. But
overwhelmed. They
over
overwhelm.
it does become like as a viewer it
Well, they
becomes overwhelming. But I want to
oversaturate
know like
themselves.
Yes.
looking.
Yes.
Mm,
They oversaturate
well,
themselves.
I
You
just
know what I mean?
saturate themselves. Yeah. Mm,
Listen, you know what I realized, and I'll break this down to you, and a lot of folks don't understand this this breakdown. It's called show business for a reason, right? 20, 20% is the show. 80% is the business. You got comedians out there that are not mainstream comedians that are still making $250,000 a year because of all the connects
right.
that they have through business. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
Right.
you don't
They're
have to
working.
be, the Kevin Harts and the Dave
Right.
Chappelles and still make a real good living. You know what I
Right.
mean? Um,
Right. Right.
will our
Right.
time ever come to that? Hey, stay the course. It's
Right.
called show
Mm-hmm.
business. 20% is the show, 80% is the business. How well do you make me feel when I do business with you? And if I need you not to necessarily perform, but to book the show, can you do that for me? And that's the
Right.
business side
Right.
that a lot of these comedians don't have the talent to do.
Right.
And that's why folks
Mm,
like myself, and it's not to put myself on a pedestal, but I'm well rounded. I mean, I come from Wall Street,
mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So I know the business side, I know numbers, I know all of that. I know what we have to do to compile a budget for an event. You know what I mean? I used to produce,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you see my biography, I used to produce live comedy in movie theaters. And I used to bring the
Right.
A-list
Yeah.
comedians to the movie theaters. Some more, David Allen Greer, Joe Torre. We brought Ricky Smiley, I mean, Bill Bellamy. All these comedians that people would see on national television can get a chance to come back to the hood, East New
Right.
York, the Linden Boulevard multiplex in the late,
Ooh,
in
yeah, I
the
remember.
mid
Yeah, yeah.
2000s.
Okay.
I remember that. Yeah, yeah, I remember. I remember. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
They were able to see,
Yeah.
Oh, I had a flashback.
yeah, they were able to see the comedians that they were seeing on TV the
Mhm.
night before,
Right.
Mm.
you know?
Yeah, and I could just listening to it because like the other part too, I think you spoke to it, but the business part, the
I'm
travel
sorry, that
part,
was my phone.
like, well, that's no problem. You good.
I saw
Mm-hmm.
AG over the summertime. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter, being your niece, she had the best time. Like Caroline's. First of all, it's the middle of a Patricia.
Okay.
So we rolling into Caroline. She's never been to a comedy club. She knows nothing about this. And she's
Mm.
like, Mom, I want to see what a comedy club is all about. Can we? And I'm like, Girl, I've done this my whole life. I'm a New Yorker.
Right.
Yawkah.
Yeah,
Yorker.
Yorker.
But
Yorker.
okay, if you want to do it, I'll do it with you. Okay.
Right up, yo.
Cause you want to do it. So I'm her wingman all of a sudden. And she's like, all right, so there's a show at Caroline's. You know about this place? Oh, you're cute. Yeah, we could go with you.
Yeah.
Book the
Right.
tickets. Here's You got a credit card, book the tickets.
Mm.
And we go, and she's so impressed. Who's in line in front of us? Literally in line in front of us is homegirl who lives down the block from us, mind you, who produces all the love and hip hop shows.
A word. That's
What's her
what's up.
name? The Haitian lady. She right in front of us with her homegirls going to see Lunel and AG White.
Mm. Hey,
And
that's what's happening.
Cheyenne's like, oh my God, this is a real big deal. And here
Yeah.
comes AG White killing it. And she's like, oh, this is amazing. When we're going to our next one. So this is something that you and I, Dane, we grew up with this. This is the
Yeah.
regular for us.
Yeah.
But for the next generation, AG, it's beautiful to see that you guys are still in the clubs, bringing it,
Hmm.
giving it your all, as rich and delicious and not shortchanging. Because it was as I remembered. I didn't feel cheated. It was as I remembered. It was as delightful. And she now wants to go back and experience this again. She now knows, oh,
Nice.
this is a big deal. This is what this is about. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
let's do this again. So yeah, when you speak to the 80% of the business, then yeah, this next generation, whatever fucking generation she is, because I don't even remember the letters anymore.
Yeah. 1 week
Who keeps
sister.
up? Elemental P,
Exactly.
whatever they are. This is what feeds the industry, and I appreciate that. I do want to know though. I know that your dad, God rest his soul, is no longer with us.
Mm.
Is your mom still with us?
No,
Wow.
What did your
no.
parents, were they still around when you started in comedy?
Yeah, my mother and father were around when I started. My mother
Okay,
passed
what
away
were
in
their
'98.
thoughts?
But let me tell you something. My mother was a huge supporter of mine. And let me
Good.
explain this. When my mother was a severe diabetic. My mother was
Hmm.
had diabetes when they couldn't control it, but with insulin. That's the only way they could
Hmm.
control it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
if you have diabetes, they can control it through a pill,
Right.
or
Mm-hmm.
you show up Tuesday.
Diet and a pill. Yeah.
Yeah, the diet and the pill.
Hmm.
But when she had it, there was no research on the pill yet.
Mm-hmm.
She had it in the early '70s. So, long story short, she was such a huge fan of mine that she used to put my headshot when because she was back and forth in the hospital with the
Hmm.
diabetes and trying to
Hmm.
save legs, and unfortunately, she was a
Right.
double amputee.
Mm.
Right.
But she used to have my headshot, on the table that when they give you your meal, you put
Mm-hmm.
the table across the bed.
Right.
Yeah, she would have my headshot on that table, and the Jamaican nurses would come in and be like, "Oh, Miss Garrett, who this?" And she was like, "That's my son. He's a comedian. That's my son." And every time I used to go up there to see her, she used to be like, "Andy, she would never call me AG White. She would
Of
be like,
course not.
Andy,
That's your
do
mama.
do the Jamaican, character for the nurses.
Of
I'm like,
course.
Ma, no, come on, Ma. I just wanna just be here for
No,
you,
no,
Ma.
no. She's proud of you. That
Let me
is
put
that
the
Right.
is her
gauze. Let me
pride.
put the gauze back on the cut
No.
on the incision, Mom. Come
Nah,
on.
Nah,
no,
later.
right. You here to work.
Do the
But
character.
Right,
Do the
right. You here to work.
character.
exactly. But you know what? If they did well with my mother, I'd be like, listen, nurse,
Yeah.
whoever, listen, thank you for
Yes,
taking care of
yes.
my mother here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know the white lady that's so the white
Enough
lady that's my mother.
respecting.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
wanted
love
to
it.
get
Everton.
LT.
I
I
love
wanted
it.
to get
Everton.
LT.
Yeah.
Jamaicans don't pronounce words that begin with H. So
Nah,
I don't know
man.
what you're
yeah,
talking
man.
about.
We wanted to
I don't
get
know what you're talking
LT.
about.
We
Because those are
wanted to
my
come out.
people.
We wanted to come out to the hospital
I love it. I
in
love
a
it.
hurry.
I love it, man. It's dope. That's real dope,
Wait,
man.
because my daughter, just came from visiting her grandmother on the other side, and she said, "Yo, why?" She said, "Tree." She
Yo, for
said,
real.
"Yo, not the tree, Grandma Jen.
No,
3. It
no,
has a th.
no. It's
3.
tree. It's
No,
tree.
it's tree.
Tree.
Tree,
Yeah,
Cheyenne. It's
yeah.
tree."
Tree that.
Hmm. Man, I love it. That's dope.
I love
Woo.
it. That's so
So,
good. That's so good.
so how you stay constant, man? Like, I mean, I know, because obviously your energy and you're funny, but we talked about earlier, being in a Patricia. How was it being on the road and dealing with city to city pandemic rules, vaccine mandates,
Jesus.
and right, and all of this other shit that
I don't give a shit. I got my vaccine, motherfucker. I
okay.
got that shit when it first came out, like it was a pair of Jordans.
You was like this. Just put it right here. Just put it right here. Look, you don't even need no
Shit.
alcohol. Just right here.
Like fucking, as soon as that shit dropped,
On it.
got that motherfucker like it was Jordans, yo.
Yeah.
I told the motherfucker that gave me the vaccine, shoot your shot.
Shit.
You know what I mean? Listen, my vaccine, I make that shit sound top 40th. Top 40. I got the funky cold Moderna. My shit sound top 40, goddamn it. Top 40 records. Not medical records, just the
I
top
know.
40 records. Funky cold Moderna.
I know that shit right, man. Yo, that's crazy.
Ow. I
Yeah,
can't.
it's the shit that we don't see. What is something that maybe you could talk that a lot of us don't see or aware of, man? In your journey and in your climb and your grind, that
Yeah.
we look at it and say that it's easy,
Fuck you doing?
but we don't see it.
Sorry, I lost.
All right,
That's
it's
okay.
all
Go
good.
ahead.
It's all
That's
good.
what editing is for.
That's what exactly. Now, just curious, man. Like, what is it that something funny that you can share or talk about that like we take for granted, in your daily grind, like some of the things that you have to go through. Because see, when we see you on stage or we see you on, maybe on a film or doing what you do, see, a lot of us think, man, that it looks easy. Cause like we were
Right.
talking earlier, a lot of us think, yo, shit, nigga, I'm funny. I can tell
Yo,
jokes.
let me tell you.
No, I don't think that.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, you got people out there though, like, yo, I'm funny. I can tell jokes, like, but we take it for granted. Not only the work that
Listen,
you put in.
let me say this, D, and soon. Let me tell you this. Everybody's funny behind a fucking pause button. And an editing button. And an editing button. And a do-over. Everybody's fucking hilarious.
Wait, let me do it
When
one more
you
time.
do
Wait.
stand up, when
Right.
you do stand up, motherfucker, there ain't no safety net. It's
Right.
that joke right there at that particular time.
With all them eyes on
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yes.
All right.
But I'll tell you the truth. It's my safe haven, man. When I get on stage, because I'm in control. It's me. It's
Right.
me, myself, and I. I have no boss. Don't have to hit a clock or nothing. It's
Mm.
me up there. And see, people that think they're funny, and I have nothing against anybody that thinks they're funny. You
Mm.
know what I mean? But comedy, believe it or not, is nothing but, well, stand-up comedy is
Mm.
nothing but a funny essay. Remember in school, right? We had the introduction,
Right.
then we had the
Right.
body, and then we had the conclusion.
Right.
Right.
That's how comedy's written.
Mm.
You have the introduction, your first joke, then you have the body, which is basically all your material, and then
Right.
your ending has got to stick. So your introduction and your ending's got to stick. It's like flying in an airplane. I try to equate that to flying in an airplane. The motherfucking plane, right? It got to take off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If the motherfucker doesn't take off,
You
we
done.
won't be here.
Yeah.
So it takes off, right? Then during the flight, there might be a little turbulence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it happens. It is
Right.
what it is.
Right.
But he smooths the plane out and you land. Does he got to land? You fucking
Yeah.
right.
You're
He's
right.
got to land.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to equate, just so people get a gist of what I'm talking about.
Right.
It's flying. It's like a pilot. His introduction is the takeoff. If the takeoff is a little shaky, you don't give a fuck. But motherfucker,
You
straight this
making it.
plane out and
Word up.
motherfucker land this shit in two and
Word
a
up.
half hours.
You
You're like,
better land this
right?
shit.
Because he talking cause shit. I'm on a plane right now thinking that shit. Like, yeah, you better get this shit right, bruh.
Right.
And you
Real
better
talk.
damn sure land this motherfucker too.
Right on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for real.
You know that's what people kill me with planes, right? They always want to be in first class. I'm like, for what, motherfucker? You the first to go. I ain't never see a plane back into a mountain. Motherfucker, give me 33D. I'll take that motherfucker.
Yeah, that's some good shit, man. Only
Nah,
That's
but
a
nah,
fact.
that's what I
That's
try.
fact
I've
though.
never seen a plane back
That
into a
yeah,
mountain.
that's real talk. That's real talk right there.
No
Oh
doubt.
shit. Oh man, got me
Oh my
sweating over
God,
here.
that's such a fact.
Oh
All
man,
right.
it's funny.
As funny as you are, with all this time and position, what is there has to be moments when you have bombs that stand out in your brain. Are you willing to name one?
I
Just
bombed so
one.
bad.
Just one.
Let me tell you, it was Manhattan proper in Queens.
Okay.
Motherfucker, I was bombing so bad that the fucking chef came out with the dirty apron and all and told me to get the fuck off the stage. Yo, he stopped frying wings.
I gotta go.
He was
Look,
like, yo,
I gotta go. I gotta go.
get this
I gotta
motherfucker
go.
off the
I gotta
stage.
go.
Matter of fact,
What?
matter of fact, matter of fact, this apron,
Oh shit.
motherfucker, put this shit over your career. Put this, make it a sheet, motherfucker.
Oh shit.
It's death for you.
Oh man.
Oh
Yo,
my.
That had to be early on though, man. Right? Like that.
motherfucking 93.
Yeah, but you know, okay, you real
When did
polished
you
right
start? When did you start?
Probably
92.
3.
You gotta listen. I said 92, April of 92.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
So
early
all right, okay,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
we're coming up on 30 years.
That's fantastic, sir.
Right.
Tree
That's
zero.
fantastic. That's like when I crashed the car when I was 12. I never crashed
Right.
since.
I mean,
Wow.
it's
I'm
early
freaking
on.
48 almost next month. I'm 48. Come on.
Next
I
month?
crashed my grandfather's Cutlass Supreme when I was 12. I've never crashed a car since.
Wow.
Man.
Cutlass
Who's
Supreme.
counting? It was
That's
a
an OG.
1972
That's an
Cutlass
OG car
Supreme.
right
Right.
Right.
You know he's OG for
His
real.
two-door Cutlass Supreme when I was 12. Man, who's counting? I was 12.
Wow.
You can't count that. You can't hold that against me. I've never crashed a car since. I be whipping.
Shit.
Preach.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, listen,
That's fan-fucking-tastic. Oh my God. You're an ace at this.
Yeah, he a vet. He a vet, man.
I appreciate this.
Yo.
I want to go eat. Can I eat now? I'm hungry.
Man. Listen, you have
I
earned
just
the upcoming
I can't
meal.
eat anything with sauce this late. That acid
You
reflux
have
will beat
earned
mother.
facts.
Yo, you know
Facts.
you
No.
old as shit.
No.
Yo,
No. That's a fact. That's a
That's why
fact.
I'm
You
laughing.
ain't lying.
That's why I'm laughing. As soon as he
You
went to
ain't
that shit,
lying.
that's
You
why I
ain't
start
lying.
laughing.
yo, come on. None
You
of these
telling the truth.
motherfucking Gen Zs know about
You
this
gonna have to
shit,
go to
yo.
sleep sitting up. You gonna have to go to sleep sitting up like I do, cause that shit'll
Yo,
come right
fat.
back up. Come
Yo,
back up.
yo, I swear. Oh, that shit.
Yeah, this shit is
Oh,
crazy, right? That's why they
It's a
started laughing when
fact.
he said it. When he said it, that's why they started
Yo,
laughing.
don't
yeah.
we
That's when
know?
that's when
Anybody over 45 know the truth.
you know your shit is done, man. You're like, yo, you gotta, yo, let me sit on
It's
the
a
couch. Let me go to
wrap.
sleep on the couch.
It's a
I
wrap.
can't fuck. I
It's
hear
a
you
wrap.
exactly.
Look, too
Go
much
to
Shit.
that
red
couch.
wine, and you had pasta. Oh, you sleeping sitting
Mm-mm.
up tonight? Okay. We love you
Son.
so much.
No,
Thank you
but thanks,
so much
Snoop.
for joining
Thanks,
us.
Dane.
I appreciate you
Hey,
spending this
I
time.
appreciate it.
I
I
appreciate it, man.
love anything and everything that is connected to AG White. And you know, if you're on the East Coast and in the New York tri-state area, I will be there.
Yeah,
Thanks a
well,
lot. I appreciate it.
Dane,
yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
know,
follow him on
I'm on.
IG.
I'm already following him.
Repost,
I'm already following. I'm already
repost, because if he's in the
yo,
Beltway,
yo. You
in
come
the
down to the DMV,
DMV,
man. Yo,
that's right.
we
That's
I was
gonna
right.
just
show.
in. I was just in the
Get
DMV.
into
I was
it.
in Washington on Friday, but it's okay.
Yeah, no, well, look, man. You know, I mean, I definitely we here. I follow you personally. Two mics up, we follow you. You know, the platform, man. Anytime you got anything going on, if there's anything that we can do,
Copy.
to help support, man. Yo,
Absolutely.
let me know. Let us know, man. Love the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm honored to be here tonight. Thank you, Sumi, for allowing me to sit here and rock with you and AG.
Absolutely.
No
You know
doubt,
how
Sumi.
I feel
Yo,
about
continue success to you, man.
amazing
No doubt.
talent.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
Sumi.
you so much for
All right.
joining us.
All right,
Thank you
D.
so
All
much.
right, man.
You
Thank
got it.
you,
Bless
fam.
up.
Have a
All
good
right.
night, everybody.
Night,
Bless up.
night. One on it.
Night.